Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. Hey there, folks. My name is Brad Varnell, and this is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. I'm excited. It's been a long time since I've done an afternoon stream, so hopefully we will see some new faces, some folks that maybe aren't able to be on in the morning, and I am really looking forward to giving you guys an incredible update on my wife and I's IVF journey, and also talk to you a little bit about life. This is the Crypto Monday Mindset Mastery, so we don't get into a whole lot of detail on what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets and what tokens to invest in. Today is more about taking the 6 inches in between these ears of yours and helping you to make this incredible brain of yours work on your behalf and help you to train it to get you what you want in life. So with that, folks, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you that are here today. Do me a huge favor and smash that like button if you haven't already. It helps the algorithm send this out to more people. And if you are new to the channel, if somehow this timing hit you perfect, please consider subscribing to the channel. You don't got to do it yet, but if you like what you hear and you enjoy being a part of today, then please subscribe to the channel before it is all over. With that, I want to say hi to all of you that are here. Crypto Compassion, good afternoon. Hope you are having a fantastic day. We've got Nay and Jonah. Don't remember the last time you weren't here. Thank you for being here. Joe Mama 4781. I think it's been a while since we have seen you, my friend. So I'm glad that you could make it today. And then, of course, Mr. Dave P. He doesn't miss it no matter what time of the day or night I go live. Dave, man, I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate your commitment and your support to the channel very, very much. You know, very, very heartfelt appreciation to all that you do, and appreciate you for being here just all the time. We've got Christine Joy 21. Welcome. Hope you are having a fantastic day today. Feels like I missed somebody. Oh, hey, Justice in Georgia, say hi. Good morning. So this is some family members of mine watching the channel today. Awesome. I love to have you guys here, and you guys will be excited because I am going to talk a little bit about Texitcoin, and these guys here are family members of mine that just jumped into the Texitcoin opportunity, and super excited to help them change their lives financially. And that's a little bit what we're going to talk about today. But I want to get around. My wife and I, as most of you know, are trying to have a baby. We've been out in Colorado now for, I guess it's going to be what, it'll be 2 weeks, I guess, tomorrow. 2 weeks tomorrow. We've been in Colorado. We had another doctor's appointment today, and everything is going wonderfully as planned. So my wife is taking some medication that is designed to grow the follicles and make everything the way that it's supposed to be. And then here it looks like in 4 or 5 days, they're going to actually be retrieving the eggs. And then you don't need all the technical jargon, but in our case, we're not going to be doing a fresh transplant. We're going to be doing a frozen transplant. And there's a lot of medical reasons for that. So we'll actually be doing everything till Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week. And then we're going to go home for a few weeks. And then we'll be back after Thanksgiving here in Colorado again, the beginning of beginning of December. And hopefully, if all goes well, we will be able to announce to the world and announce to you, incredible community, that we are expecting a baby in about 9 months come Christmas time. Hopefully we'll be able to announce around Christmas time that my wife, in fact, is pregnant. So I appreciate each and every one of you that is praying for us and keeping us in your hearts and in your prayers. It means the world to us. And so far, so good. Everything is happening, as expected. So what I wanted to talk to you about is not necessarily about Texitcoin, although my Texit Coin business and the things that I'm doing with Texit Coin are part of what are bringing this conversation on. But you guys, you can really apply this to any area of your life. And really the title of this video should probably be called, getting outside your comfort zone. Or another way that I like to put it, that I've heard it said many times, is all of the good things that you want, all of the success that you're dreaming about is outside of your comfort zone. And something else that, another saying that kind of goes along with that is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, but expecting different results. So guys, if you want your life to change, most of the time you got to change. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about getting outside of your comfort zone. And since there's a couple of you that are here that are in Texit Coin, this would be a great little reminder for you guys, because I know that you're all doing some things that aren't natural to you. They're not a part of what you are used to doing on a daily basis. My wife and I were actually talking about that on the way to the doctor's office today, how a lot of the things that I take for granted, a lot of my knowledge, a lot of the things that I do in my business, it's because I started learning about this stuff when I was about 16 years old, and I'm 52 now. So I can't expect those of you that are just jumping into Texit Coin or that are just jumping into something new to have this mindset, to have the skill set. It's a combination of the two. But I promise you guys, if you'll have the mindset, the skill set will come. But part of what you want to really do, whether it's your own business or you're going and looking for a new job, or you're just trying to get in shape and get healthier, is to understand that it's going to be uncomfortable at first. Once again, everything that you want, all of your dreams, all of your goals, everything that you want is outside of your comfort zone. And if that wasn't the case, folks, then you would already have all that you wanted and all that you were dreaming about. If it was within your comfort zone, you'd already earned it. You'd already have it. So that should make sense to all of you that are watching, that you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone. No matter what it is you want, it's going to be outside of the comfortable area that you are in right now. And so part of what I'm here to do is just create some awareness. Awareness is half the battle. And so if you don't realize that your mind is actually sabotaging you and trying to keep you safe, and I'll use this analogy because I know that Mouse and and some of you are watching are familiar with this, but we go, Mouse and her husband Jacob and her kids and my family and a bunch of our families, we go to a place called Sun Lakes, Eastern Washington, every couple of years. And one of the things that we do while we're there is we go cliff jumping. And it's inevitable, even for people that have jumped off these cliffs before, to get to the edge of the cliff and to be scared, to not want to jump. Now, and for the people that have never done it, it can really be, a scary thing. And I've seen people stand on the edge of this cliff for 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour sometimes, trying to get up the courage to jump off of this cliff. And in the meantime, there's dozens of people there that are jumping. So if you could imagine, you're standing there scared to do this thing, but you watch person after person after person after person jump, including sometimes you've got a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid there, and you got 5 and 6-year-old kids that are jumping off the cliff right in front of them. Yet this 14, 15-year-old kid is just so terrified and held up by fear that they can't force themselves, they can't get themselves to jump off. And I want you guys to realize that that is natural. That's your brain protecting you. We have been around for thousands, if not, millions of years. And one of the things that our brain is taught and is trying to help us to do is avoid pain. It's to avoid danger. Now, in that situation where you're jumping off a cliff into the water, your brain is it's calculating, well, man, am I going to hit the rocks? Am I going to drown? Am I going to be able to swim back out? So like, it's perceiving jumping off this cliff as real life danger, like harm could come to your body, and it freezes you. And all of us have probably had that experience at some point in time in our lives. We can all relate to that. But for those of us that ended up having the courage to jump, it was awesome. And nobody's ever jumped off that cliff, as part of my family at least, and ever hurt themselves in any way. That nobody's ever regretted doing it. They've always been glad that they did it. They've always been glad that they got out of their comfort zone and did something new that they hadn't experienced before. But the reason I mentioned that story is because that fear was somewhat real. It was somewhat real. There was some possibility that, you could jump, and especially as we get to some of the higher cliffs that the adults jump off of, there's some possibility that you could hurt yourself. So your brain wasn't totally making stuff up in that case. And because of that, you trust your brain to a certain extent in that kind of an environment. But what's interesting is that, like, for people that are jumping into Texitcoin, taking the knowledge that you have and going and sharing it with other people can be even more frightening than jumping off that cliff. And isn't it crazy that something like jumping off that cliff that theoretically did potentially have some danger to it, and that could have created some bodily harm? If I gave you the choice, a lot of you would say, if you're standing there on the cliff and I say, hey, you got two choices, you can either jump off the cliff, or you can share this business opportunity with the person that you're the most afraid to share it with. 99% of you would rather jump off the cliff than share an opportunity with somebody. And it's kind of crazy, don't you think? Your mind is trying to protect you the same way that it would when you jump off the cliff, but it's trying to protect you from something where there is no danger. I've been around this earth for 52 years. I've been sharing opportunities and business ideas and stuff since I was at least, probably earlier than 16. Like, I literally at 12 years old, I had a paper route. And part of that was knocking on doors. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, my name's Brad. I deliver the Seattle Herald in the area, and I noticed you don't have a subscription. Would you be interested in joining up and getting a subscription for the Seattle Herald? And you would have people that said, no, slam the door in your face. You're bugging me during dinner time. And, even before that, I remember at 6, 7, 8 years old, being part of school and out of school sports. Have any of you ever had a child or yourself gone around your neighborhood and sold those like $1 C's chocolate bars? Man, I tell you, I love doing that, but I could understand the fear that it would create for other people. But like, my point is, I sold C's candy bars when I was 7 or 8. I sold subscriptions to my paper route. I started knocking on doors and saying, hey, I'm Brad, and I noticed that your lawn is a little bit long and it looks like it could use some weed eating. Would you be interested in hiring me to do that yard work for you? And so my point is after, 36 years of doing that type of thing, I've never had any type of injury befall me or any type of a life-threatening situation come out of sharing an opportunity with somebody. But most people are more afraid to talk to somebody and share information with them about something that they're excited about than they are jumping off that cliff at Sun Lakes or doing something that could inflict bodily harm. And so awareness, once again, is half the battle. Like, what is the worst that can happen if you go share your idea with somebody? What's the worst thing that can happen? Anybody got any ideas of, what's the worst thing that you could imagine happening if you're starting a business of your own, and whatever the case might be, if you are thinking about something that would take you outside of your comfort zone, that is going to better your life financially or even, health-wise, like what's the worst thing that could happen? And I will tell you that in my opinion, the worst thing that's ever happened to me is people have been rude and told me like, you're an idiot. Like that's never going to work. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. So let me ask you a question. How's that going to affect your life? Like you have total control in that situation, how you respond to that. For some people, that causes them to shrivel up into a little ball and go into their shell and never talk to anybody else again. Other people, it floats down their back like, water off a duck's back. Some people, that affects their life tremendously to have somebody tell them no, especially if somebody just says, no, thank you, I'm not interested, that's not for me. We can all live with that, right? But when you get that person that thinks they know it all, and, sometimes it's even our best friends or our parents, our family, people that love us, and they're not even necessarily doing it to be mean. They're trying to do it to save us from harm. Oh my gosh, man, what did you do? Oh, get your money back as fast as you can. That's for sure a dumb idea. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why in the world would you invest your hard-earned money into that? That can hurt, especially when it's coming from somebody that you care about. But if you think about it, what's the after effect of that? Nothing. You go on with your day, they go on with their day, you agree to disagree, and nothing changes. Your life is no worse. Really nothing changes. There was no danger there. There was nothing bad really happened. Only thinking makes it so. And what am I trying to say here? So I'm going to tell you guys a story that kind of articulates this. So I've got a good friend named Bill that lives in Washington State. He got involved in crypto back during the last bull market, right kind of towards the peak of it. So the last few years have been pretty rough. And I have been talking to him about Texitcoin since the very first day that I got in. August 22nd, I bought some Texitcoin miners and started along this path. And I messaged him immediately and he's like, Brad, I don't understand it. Everything that I've done in crypto for the last, 4 years is underwater. He literally just got scammed out of a couple $100,000 on his Coinbase account because somebody ended up being able to get him on the phone and act like a Coinbase representative, and he fell for what they and gave them. Well, he didn't give them his private keys, but he sent tokens out of his Coinbase account to a SafePal wallet, thinking that he was protecting his account. Long story short, August 22nd told me no, and then he went even further than telling me no. He's also like, he took a short look at it. He probably watched 2 minutes worth of stuff and then told me basically like, that'll never work. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. So what did I do? I told him, okay, but I didn't quit. Like I went to the next person. I shared the information with the next person. And my buddy Jeff Atkins was the first person that jumped in. Now, Jeff Atkins saw what was happening with Texitcoin and he jumped in immediately. So what's the difference between the two? Well, it's just the law of averages. If you were to go stand out in front of a grocery store helping your son or daughter sell, Girl Scout cookies, not every single person that comes by is going to buy the Girl Scout cookies. You're going to have people that maybe are like super, super health freaks that just don't eat candy. You might have somebody like me that's a type 2 diabetic that would love some Thin Mints, but that says, gosh, I appreciate the offer, but I can't do it. You might even have somebody that says, you know what? I don't believe in the Girl Scouts. Blah, blah, blah. Boys and girls shouldn't be separated. They should be, they should be doing everything together. And I don't even believe in what the Girl Scouts, do. if you were standing out in front of a grocery store selling Girl Scout cookies with your daughters, would somebody walking up and being rude to you and saying they didn't believe in the Girl Scouts cause you to tuck your tail in between your legs and go home? Of course not. You wouldn't think twice about it. You just keep on talking to people, and the ones that wanted Girl Scout cookies would come get Girl Scout cookies, and so on and so forth. Like, you know, so long story short, though, with this bill, I talked to him. I message him every couple of weeks, showing him the price increase in Texitcoin, showing him how the team was growing. And literally on Saturday, 2 days ago, I wish I could pull up the text messages and show them to you, but we're having this conversation. He's like, I still don't understand it. He's like, but you're still excited about it. You've been doing incredible, it sounds like, for the last 2 months. You know, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. And then this is pretty close to his exact words, guys. He's like, but I'm not going to be telling other people about it. I ain't got time to mess with the affiliate program and all of that baloney and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to buy a miner and that's it. And so, but long story short, April 22nd to November 9th. How long is that? April 22nd, August 22nd to September 22nd to October 22nd to November 9th. Almost, it was over 2.5 months. And guess what he did yesterday? Not only did he buy one miner, but he bought 5 to get 1 free. So after all of that, no, you're an idiot, I ain't doing it, he finally jumps in, and not only does he jump in, but he buys 5 miners. And guess what else he did, guys? Here, I think this is worthy of sharing. If I can pull it up quick enough, I think this is worth a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let me pull this up here real quick. I think you guys will get a little bit of a kick out of this. Let me see here. Where is his login? There we go. All right, so this is Bill's back office for Texitcoin. This is the guy that told me yesterday or Saturday while he was buying 5 miners to forget about it. He ain't sharing it with anybody. This is his back office. Let me share my screen here. And we're going to do this tab here. And then I'm going to come over here and add this to the screen. Can you see that? Let me enlarge it a little bit. There's Bill at the top, William V. You see those 3 people right there? Those 3 people are 3 people that Bill talked to about the miners, and he already in 1 day, 2 days, has already referred 3 people that have bought miners. He's earned 2 miners free. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to start talking to my rich people. Like he's a pretty successful man, owns an incredible landscaping business in Washington State. So now he's giving me the phone number. He's like, this guy is a multi-millionaire, and he knows a bunch of multi-millionaires. And so I called one of his buddies today, and he was walking into a meeting. But long story short, Bill, not only is Bill referring people after he said he wasn't, he just continues to get more and more and more excited and refer more people. And now he's literally referring people to me that are super, super high level, successful millionaire, multi-millionaire people. And I just say all of that to say that if I would have been too scared to go talk to Bill because he owns this big landscaping company and he's worth, $10 million, and all of these things would have kept me from talking to Bill, Bill would never know about Texitcoin, and he'd have never had an opportunity to jump in. And so once again, for those of you that are just jumping into the Texitcoin business, I'm kind of getting to train you. But guys, whether you're out there wanting to start a business of your own, maybe you work for a company, maybe you're a mechanic and you work for a company and you make pretty good money, but maybe it's been a dream of yours to own your own mechanic shop. You want to be the boss. You want to call the shots. You want to own your own business, but 5 years later, you've been too afraid to jump off the cliff. So whatever business or whatever endeavor is in your heart, whatever dream you've been putting off, because every time you think about it, you start thinking about all of the things that go wrong and why it might not work, and the people that are going to tell you you're an idiot and that are going to tell you that you're stupid for trying. The other thing, remember this, guys, somebody that's doing better in life than you is almost never going to put you down and make you feel bad for chasing your dreams. 99% of the time, if somebody is putting down your dream, it's because they're not dreaming big enough, and they don't want you to go be successful, because it proves, that if you could do it, they can do it. And if they don't go do it, now what is their excuse? They don't have anybody, to anything to fall back on if you go do what you want to do and leave them behind. So 99% of your haters are going to be people that are just jealous and that you think are friends, but that really don't want you to succeed. A lot of your friends are happy for you to a certain extent, but if you really start to break free from the path, if you're hanging around a bunch of people and you all make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and you all of a sudden, maybe you're all making $50,000 a year, and all of a sudden you're making 60 or 65, they're happy for you. But if all of a sudden you go from making 50 a year to making 150, 250 a year, a lot of those people are going to not be there behind your back. They're going to be secretly hoping that you fail and that you come back down to their level, because you make them uncomfortable with your success. And you got to just get used to not caring. If your success makes somebody else uncomfortable, heck with them. That's not your problem. That's their problem. So guys, I told my wife I wasn't going to go for a long time today, but I wanted to share this concept and get you all thinking about getting out of your comfort zone. And so I even told Melissa and Jacob the other day, one of the things I told them was, hey, create a names list of 5 or 10 people that are the most successful people that that you would be kind of scared to talk to, and just go ask them for their opinion. So rather than going to, somebody that's ultra successful and trying to get them to be a part of whatever you're doing, if you come at them and say, hey, Bill, I think you should buy some of these miners. You're going to make a bunch of money and you can join my team and it's going to be amazing. We're going to build underneath you and blah, blah, blah. Bill is going to look at you like you got 2 heads. But if you go to Bill and you say, hey, Bill, I came across this opportunity that I'm super excited about, but man, I have a ton of respect for you and the success that you have had in your life. And would you do me a huge favor? Would you please watch a couple of these YouTube videos and take a look at this investment that I'm getting involved with? I'm super excited about it, but I would really love to get your opinion on it. That is going to cause Bill to puff out his chest and be proud of himself, because you're asking for his opinion, and people love to give their opinions. And now Bill is going to go watch these videos, and one of 2 things is normally going to happen. Either Bill's going to watch the videos and say, hey, that looks pretty cool. It's not really for me, but man, I think you should jump into it. That's awesome. I'm proud of you guys. I think it would be excellent for you to do it. Or a lot of times, people that have already had success in life, like Bill is making a ton of money from his business, but he loves investing. He loves passive income. He loves thinking about, he's a little older than me. He's getting to the point where some point in time, he's probably just going to sell his business and he's going to want to kind of enjoy his life. And so Bill is very likely, a lot of times, the more successful he is, and he sees a real opportunity to make passive income and invest and create passive income, Bill a lot of times is going to come back and say, hey, that looks like a pretty incredible opportunity. How do I get in on it? And then the third thing is Bill could look at it and say, no, you're an idiot. But most of the time, the person that's saying that you're an idiot doesn't really know what they're talking about, because, if you've got somebody in your life that's a doctor, lawyer, accountant, and done very well in that area, they probably don't know much about crypto. So some people might be turned off and give you a bad answer just because it's crypto, or whatever the case might be. If you're opening up your own automotive garage and you go to somebody and you try to explain to them what you want to do, and maybe you're looking to raise some funds. You want a few people to invest so that you can open up your own shop and buy some of the equipment. Those people, if they don't understand automotive garages, they don't understand the profitability, they've been a lawyer their whole life, they might tell you that's a stupid idea. So the other thing that I want you guys to think about is don't take advice from people that don't have the life that you want and that don't have experience in the area that you want. So go back and recap real fast. The point with Bill is A, be persistent and don't be afraid to talk to the Bills in your life. And even if they're not interested right now, 2.5 months from now, that Bill could jump on board and be one of the best people that you have brought onto your team. The second thing is we hear it all the time, like if you go into a car dealership and you listen to car salesmen talk to themselves, one of the famous quotes that you'll hear inside a car dealership is buyers are liars. Buyers are liars. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but even in my own case, I don't mind them saying that because it's so true. And I'll give you an example. About 4 months ago, my mother-in-law wanted to buy a new car. So my wife and I, we went into the dealership where we bought a couple of cars. We got together with the salesperson that knew us. And one of the first things they ask you in a car dealership is, how much money do you have to put down? Well, in this particular situation, we had $4,000 that we knew, that my mother-in-law could put down on this car. But we didn't tell them that. We didn't want to put $4,000 down. We told them, hey, we'd like to get this deal done with zero down. And if you have to, we could probably swing $1,000. And I'm telling you, that's very, very true. When you talk to a buyer and they're like, oh man, I can't quite afford this car payment. It's $550 and I can only afford $498. They know most of the time, if you want the car bad enough, you're going to come up with the other $50 a month, but it happens all the time. So when you are going out and somebody says, oh man, I would love to invest in helping you start your automotive garage, but I don't have $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. A lot of times it just ain't true. And I'll prove it to you, because if you don't have any money, and I rolled up into your driveway with your dream car, let's just say we'll call it a 1965, Corvette Stingray, like hardtop convertible. I rolled into your driveway. That's been your dream car. You've been wanting one your whole life. And it's $100,000, $125,000 car. And I pop out of it and I grab the keys and I throw them over to you and I say, hey man, this car is yours if you can come up with 25 grand in the next week. I guarantee you guys would figure out a way to come up with 25 grand in order to get a hold of a $125,000 car. You'd be calling your mom, you'd be calling your dad, you'd be saying, Dad, loan me the $25,000 and I will put the title of the car in your name until I pay you back. And once I pay you back, and I'll pay you back $30,000 instead of $25,000, I'll give you $5,000 in interest. Like, you would be getting creative. You would figure out a way if it was important enough to you. So same thing, if you're trying to open up an automotive garage and you know that these people are investing good money and that they're going to make a lot of money by helping you get started, you're going to figure it out. You're going to talk to them. You're going to say, you know what? You might not have $10,000 cash, but do you got a credit card? Because if you put this money on a credit card, you take out a $10,000 cash advance on this card, and I take this business and turn it into a multi-million-dollar business, your $10,000 investment is going to turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars with me. And the interest that you're paying on that $10,000 credit card is nothing compared to the opportunity that you have with investing in me and this automotive shop or whatever it is that you want to do. I had a gentleman over the weekend. He didn't have cash, but he's like, can I use a credit card to buy 5 of these miners? And I said, no, you can't unfortunately use a credit card, but you could take a $5,000 cash advance. And we did the math. If he takes a $5,000 cash advance, he's going to get 6 miners. Those 6 miners are going to earn him $400 to $500 a month. And the payment on a $5,000 credit card is in the ballpark of about 200 to 250. So he's in the process of working it out and putting it together. Why wouldn't he take a $5,000 cash advance and invest it into something that's going to make him twice as much a month as it's costing him for the payment? And so basically, most people have the means, and they're telling you that they can't afford it, that, they just, now's a bad time, because they haven't caught the vision. You haven't sold them enough on how amazing it's going to be an initial investor in your automotive garage. You haven't sold them on how incredible this Texit coin opportunity is going to be and how much money they have the potential to make. And in a very, very short window, like Bill is already got 2 miners free. He's already halfway to $1,000 commission. I have no doubt that Bill is going to have the $5,000 that he invested yesterday or on Saturday back in his pocket through the affiliate program in a couple of weeks. And then all of the tokens that those 6 miners, now 8 miners, because he got 2 free, those 8 miners are going to produce hundreds of dollars a month, potentially thousands of dollars as things continue to progress for decades and decades to come. It's something that he's probably going to be able to pass on to his children. And it all comes down to, once again, buyers are liars. Are they going to sell you on the fact that they can't do it? Or are you going to sell them on the fact that they have to do it, that they got to figure it out? Beg, borrow, steal, take money out of your 401k, sell something. There's a lot of people that got a second or third car laying around that they don't really use. So if you've got an idea, a dream, a goal, something that you want to achieve, and having other people invest in it and help you is a big deal, then part of what you're going to have to go through, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to go talk to the person. You might not want to talk to the millionaire because you think, man, this millionaire is going to look down on me. He's going to figure that I don't, I'm just an employee at an automotive shop. Why would he want to invest his money with me? But what you got to realize, that millionaire that you're getting ready to go talk to used to be a young, broke 20, 30-year-old that didn't know anything about anything either. And guess what? The more successful a person is, the more successful normally they want to help other people that have that passion and that desire become. So in my opinion, you're going to get a lot less pushback, and you're going to get a lot more people that are enthusiastic and excited to participate in what you are doing, the more success they have had. And they're going to respect the fact that you are just working in an automotive shop right now, but that you've got the dream of owning not only your own automotive shop, but you're going to sell them on the dream of, once this automotive shop is running and going strong, I'm going to create the second one and the third one and the fourth one. In fact, I think part of the reason automotive shops came to my mind is I've got a good friend named Rob Roswell. Used to be addicted to meth, in and out of jail. Man, this guy, no reason in the world that you would ever expect him to be successful. He's got the most amazing wife. They've become some incredible friends of mine and Deana's. His wife stuck with him when she shouldn't have. Everybody in the world, her parents, everybody thought that she should be done with him. And looking at it and reading the book that he wrote about it, she should have. Like, nothing, no reason in the world for her to stick by him, but she did. And I want to say it's been about 20 years ago now, he finally got clean and sober. And after a few years of being clean and sober, he started his first automotive garage out in San Diego, California. And probably, I think it's been maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago now, he sold a chain of 5, 6, 7 of these automotive shops for multi-millions of dollars. He owns apartment buildings now. He just lives off of the real estate income that he has. But I guarantee you that, people took a chance. He went for his dreams, and he was willing to talk to people and share those dreams with people, and in a passionate way that got them on board with what he was doing. So guys, that's about all I got to say today. I love the heck out of all of you. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do the live stream at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as usual. No doctor's appointment tomorrow. We're going to, we're probably going to cancel Wednesdays because I've got a couple of doctor's appointments and a lot of stuff going on. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do one later in the afternoon on Wednesday, but we will be back tomorrow with the Trader Tuesday at 9 in the morning. And I hope you guys got a little bit out of this. If nothing else, just inspired to get out of your comfort zone, whatever that might be. Make that phone call, send that email, send that text. Go try to land the biggest whale that you've got, because you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You might go talk to somebody that's worth tens of millions of dollars that says, you know what, instead of you having to raise, $100,000 from 10 people to get this automotive garage off the ground, I'll just give you the whole million. Like, what's easier, going and getting, 100 people to send you 10 grand so that you've got $1 million, or would it be easier to just get $1 million from one person? It depends on your situation and your network and all of that stuff. But I'm telling you, so many people in life sabotage themselves. And the only reason they don't have the things in life that they want is they're afraid to ask the people that can give them the things that they want. If you're going and asking your broke brother that ain't got 2 nickels to rub together to invest in your business, that's a tough sell. Like, even if he wanted to, he can't. And so with that, guys, I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today. And just, man, go get it. Go after your dreams, whatever that is. Whatever that is, man, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. I'll end with this. Most people die at 20, 30 years old, and then they exist on this earth for another 40, 50 years waiting to be buried. Don't be one of them. Go out, chase your dreams, live life to the fullest, and get after it. And I promise you, if you will take that step of faith and get out of your comfort zone, good things are going to happen. I've never heard one person regret that they went for it. And because you know what? Even if you went for it, if you go for it, you give it all you got, and you didn't get to where you wanted to go, at least you wouldn't have to wonder. You wouldn't have to have that life of regret, wondering if the only reason that you didn't make it was because you never even tried. I tell you, that life of regret is probably the worst life that there is to live. You don't want to live it, and you don't want other people around you living it. So you're going to go out and live the life that you want to live, and you're going to inspire and make the people around you better. You're going to change lives. There's going to be people that become financially independent and multimillionaires because you decided to do something different and to change your family's future. And you ended up dragging them along with you. They couldn't help themselves but to get inspired by what you were doing. So it's not just your life that you're changing. You're changing your children's lives. You're changing your siblings' lives, potentially your friends, and so many people 5 or 10 years down the road are going to come to you and say, man, I'm so glad that you made the decision to play big, to not let life hold you down, and that you decided to go for it. You'll never know the impact that you've had on my life because you made the decision to go for it. So with that, folks, I love you. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless. Bye-bye for now.